I can't help but thinking as we go into another season that Thanksgiving, much like Halloween and spooky season that went before it, feels so much different now. There was a time, not even that long ago, when the air around early and mid November felt like this deep breath, this reset between two worlds. The Halloween decorations were getting packed away, the pumpkins had started to sag, and the world seemed to kind of slow down, if only for a moment before the Christmas rush, those Christmas lights and trees and everything took over our airwaves and our stores. But somewhere, not that long ago, Thanksgiving lost that breath. It stopped feeling like its own season and started feeling like this awkward thing that we just sort of skip over in between two much bigger holidays. So tonight, let's rewind and find out why Thanksgiving feels so much different now and why the 80s and the 90s may have been the last great era of that cozy, communal Thanksgiving that we all remember and conjure up images of in our memories. So pop that tape in. I got you. Let's go do this. So why does Thanksgiving feel so different now than it used to? Every year it just feels like Thanksgiving gets smaller. Not the meal, obviously, but the moment. The once upon a time November belonged to Thanksgiving by itself. It was sort of the moment between moments and it helped launch holiday season. But now it doesn't have its own aesthetic really anymore. The whole like oranges and browns and the smell of firewood and gravy and roasting turkey and Charlie Brown and the big family get-togethers before Christmas chaos hit. It really just feels like this moment that we skip over now where Halloween bleeds right into Christmas in an unstoppable force of momentum. I mean, even here on this platform itself, they start pushing Christmas content in the algorithm a few days before Halloween gets here. So if you're not caught up in doing it, you are run over by it. And that sort of feels like the whole season. It's like pumpkin spice turns to peppermint overnight, and we don't get some turkey and dressing in the middle anymore. Retail stores are hanging Christmas lights and putting out all their Christmas stuff well before Halloween even hits. It's like Thanksgiving doesn't even exist anymore. And the first half of November has become a seasonal limbo, especially like the first 10 days. We're caught with a spooky season burnout now that has been, the spooky season's been going for a couple of months, and we're not quite ready for the holiday overload. But the retail stores, the commercials, the algorithms, it's all pushing it on us, so we feel like we gotta hurry up and get there instead of slowing down and taking a breath and enjoying this beautiful autumn that we have and the build up to Thanksgiving that could launch us into that next season. This like we're all stuck in this existential crisis with a lack of coziness in this country, and it has no soundtrack during that time. It's not spooky season, it's not Christmas yet, but the world has moved on, so to speak, or it's hungover from spooky season. But in the 80s and 90s, you could feel Thanksgiving coming. It had its own sort of gravitational pull to it that wasn't just a pit stop along the way to the next sale. It wasn't just a dinner in between Halloween and Christmas. And honestly, the retail has a lot to do with it. And unfortunately, the death of some of the retail stuff, like Black Friday. If you grew up in the 80s or 90s, especially in the consumer boom, you remember that Thanksgiving night wasn't the end of the celebration. It was the start of something big and electric, because you were maybe that weekend. It used to be our tradition to put up our Christmas stuff that weekend. Everybody would get together. You'd stay up with your brothers, sisters, your mom, whoever you were visiting with, and you would be having leftover pie, maybe some cold turkey sandwiches, and you'd be circling ads for all of the Black Friday sales that you plan to get up, make a battle plan with the sales. I'm going to attack Best Buy and they've got these movies, or I'm going to attack this place because they've got TVs or VCRs or whatever it is. And it would be like this adrenaline rush, the cold air, the Thanksgiving still hanging in the air from yesterday or earlier that day, knowing the long lines were coming, the coffee, the chaos, and somehow it all felt like part of Thanksgiving itself. But with online shopping, that thrill is mostly gone. Black Friday becomes something you sit at home and do, and you just click alone in your algorithm, or, while you're streaming something on TV. And then that gives way to Cyber Monday, or even Thursday night deals, which started a few years ago with stores started opening on Thanksgiving night. And then November deals, then October deals, and then it's just seasonal deals. So it's nothing, there's no event again. There's no sense of a catching of breath and changing gears from spooky season, and then experiencing Thanksgiving and fall, and then kicking it into high gear for Christmas. There's no kickoff, just a trickle of all of this, something left over, a hangover, and on its way to the next big thing. We lost that feeling of excitement and togetherness, the communal insanity of lining up at dawn for a cheap VCR, a cheap big screen TV, a $5 movie, or a $15 DVD player. It wasn't just commerce, it was excitement that we all did together. And it's another piece of what used to make Thanksgiving feel alive that, unfortunately, as crazy as that sounds, we have lost due to convenience. Much like Halloween that came before it and Christmas that's going to come after it, Thanksgiving used to be on your TV. There were times when TV marked the season. That's how it used to be. There were whole ad campaigns where the cast from different TV shows would line up during commercial breaks to tell you Happy Thanksgiving.
From all of us here at Knots Landing to all of you out there, Happy Thanksgiving!
We're happy to have this moment to wish you a happy Thanksgiving from all of us here at Newhart.
Happy Thanksgiving!
Here at Simon & Simon, we want to wish you all
Happy Thanksgiving.
Very good.
In the spirit of this great American holiday, all of us here at Designing Women hope you have a
Happy Thanksgiving.
There was other commercial bumpers, Thanksgiving lineups, TV specials. When you didn't have to ask what month it was, you knew by just flipping the channels or going to school even and making your little turkey with your handprint, all that stuff. Every sitcom, every cartoon, every late night host, everything had Thanksgiving specials. You didn't binge them, you waited on them, and they existed. Believe it or not, it didn't go just from spooky season to Christmas. The Simpsons had Turkey Day, Bart versus Thanksgiving. The Friends episodes were legendary on Thanksgiving. Monica with a turkey on her head, Roseanne had stuff, and of course, you had the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, which was huge. Garfield, Charlie Brown, again, just like they did with Halloween, just like they're going to do with Christmas. They were all there. But now, Thanksgiving's just been condensed to a Passover, a meal for, in between spooky season on your way to Christmas. And in the streaming era, all those other moments are gone. The football on television is still there, but it doesn't have the same feeling to it. It's very corporate. You have to stream it over here, over there. Everybody's not experiencing it together. It's just a scattered list of algorithms and scrolling, and they don't care what month it is. They really want it to go ahead and be Christmas That's what's being pushed is Christmas time stuff. But back then, Thanksgiving was something to be celebrated. It wasn't a whole big thing as like Halloween or Christmas, but it was its own thing. It was a signpost on the way between those things that you slowed down and enjoyed as you passed it. It was something the entire culture participated in together. I remember looking forward to it back in the 80s was the Survivor Series, even with WWF wrestling. Back at that time, there were things that marked the time, even something that small, that have just been lost and gone. Then, unfortunately, there are some other things that have gotten a hold of Thanksgiving that other holidays haven't had to worry about the same way, and that's the politicization of it. And in the past decade or so, Thanksgiving has faced other challenges that other holidays haven't, not in the form of retail or technology even, but somewhere between social media debates and think piece culture and rage baiting and all of this stuff. Thanksgiving went from being about gratitude to being complicated for some people. Now, don't get me wrong, I was a history teacher. History deserves context, but that goes on all sides. But Thanksgiving's original message is lost. It is lost. It is togetherness. It is reflection. It is gratitude. And it has gotten buried under layers of performative outrage and culture war noise that it doesn't deserve, because at its heart, it's about something much more than that. In the 80s and 90s, we didn't think about politics at the table for Thanksgiving. We thought about gravy and football and passing the rolls before your brother ate them all. That's how it was. Now half the country's even afraid to mention the word Thanksgiving online without getting a lecture. It's okay to acknowledge history, but you have to acknowledge all aspects of history, not pick and choose and not vilify and aggrandize in the name of culture wars. And all of that gets put on Thanksgiving, and it's kind of harms it. But you got to remember, it is also okay to take a day and be thankful for food, for family, togetherness, the small things that make life worth living. It is all there. Your faith, whatever that may be, the fact that you are here living and breathing and can eat that dinner with your family. Because when you lose all of that and you lose your balance, you lose the point. Remember the lessons that the Karate Kid taught us. Life is about balance, Daniel-san, overall. And that's what we have to have. And Thanksgiving used to help us find that balance. Because of all those things that I mentioned, we have lost traditions that go along with Thanksgiving. It used to have its own flavor, literally and figuratively. Every family had their own version of the meal. Every town had its own parades, its plays, stuff like that. Every house had the same three smells: turkey, pie, whatever casserole that your mom made. My mom, it was broccoli and rice and cheese casserole and cabbage casseroles, and of course her dressing, all kinds of stuff that just making me hungry talking about it. It was part of the tradition. We would start on Wednesday night. Her and I would prepare food and do the baking, as we would start to then that night, for the first time of the season, listen to Christmas music and play Christmas stuff on TV while we prepared Thanksgiving food for the next day. That was part of our tradition. And everybody might have had their own, but very different from scrolling in your own world. You participated in them together, and everyone was still doing the same thing. Now the food's still there, but the ritual is much thinner for a lot of people. The TV's not playing parades anymore. It's not playing holiday specials. The kids aren't doing Thanksgiving plays in school as much anymore. Everybody's half scrolling TikTok or whatever through dinner. Even the Macy's parade, which was one of the most unifying American broadcasts ever next to the Super Bowl, feels more like a sponsored, corporate event now than a slice of Americana. And that is just another example of some of the traditions that are being lost, and we need to grab them and get them back. And of course, for somebody like me, movies play a big part. And believe it or not, Thanksgiving used to have its own movie season too. You had comedies like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Our Son-in-Law, Our Dutch, Home for the Holidays, Addams Family Values, all capturing the vibes of Thanksgiving, the dysfunction, the love, the food, the craziness. Now there's maybe a few handfuls of things. There's modern horror like Thanksgiving by Eli Roth, but I don't think that has the cultural relevancy that it used to have. Things like that used to have. There was a lot more of it. There's no warmth to that. It all has its place. I love horror films, but a lot of that has just been silent for the past decade or so, causing us to lose so much more. Thanksgiving used to have its own cinematic flavor to the season. Now it is mostly lost somewhere between Halloween and Christmas, like the event itself. And part of that is because the algorithm ate Thanksgiving. In the 80s and 90s, our culture moved to a rhythm, right? Even going back to the 70s, it moved to a rhythm, like chapters in a book. One thing naturally progressed from one to the other. Halloween had October. You started getting ready for it like the last week of September, all that kind of stuff. Thanksgiving had November, at least a couple of weeks of it. You had fall, the acorns, the squash, all that kind of stuff. All of that was there. And then Christmas had all that time from like right after Thanksgiving, the week of Thanksgiving or whatever, through the rest of the year. Now the algorithm runs the calendar. YouTube starts recommending Christmas content around October 25th or 26th. So does your TV. The Hallmark Christmas stuff comes on. All your Christmas commercials from Lowe's and Home Depot and Mariah Carey and all that kind of stuff. It all starts a couple days before Halloween. The stores are filled with everything. TikTok is doing tree decorating tutorials. People are doing decoration tutorials on YouTube, all before your kids even get their Halloween candy, let alone finish it. And as a result, we get this weird cultural void. The first 2 weeks of November feel like a limbo. I've talked about it on this channel. It's really too early for Christmas for a lot of people because you're still hungover from Halloween and spooky season, which is kind of too late for. And Thanksgiving has become too quiet to fill the gap between the two. So it just gets ran over. We used to feel November. Now we just kind of scroll through it in a hurry from Halloween to Christmas. But here is the good news. Thanksgiving doesn't need the big monoculture again necessarily the same way Halloween and spooky season and Christmas do. It doesn't need that the same way to matter again. What it really takes for Thanksgiving is intention, the willingness to slow down, catch your breath, make a time for connection, make a time to sit back and watch some movies, have some food, learn how to make a new recipe, watch movies together, all that stuff. Shut off your phone for a night or two here and there. Actually watch the parade and carve a turkey, make a cocktail, whatever you want to do that's seasonal, and enjoy it with the people around you. If Halloween is sort of like about imagination and all that kind of stuff, and spooky vibes, and Christmas is all about magic and belief and faith and energy and love, then Thanksgiving is about memory. It's the quiet holiday, the reflective holiday, the holiday that asks nothing more of you than gratitude and company. And those are very important things. Those are things that are worth holding on to, even if half the world has already moved on to Christmas and the other half is already missing Halloween. The 80s and 90s gave us a Thanksgiving that felt earned, intentional, and celebrated. You had to wait for it, anticipate it, participate in it. Now we rush through it like a speed bump on the way to Cyber Monday, Black Friday, what's left of it. But maybe if we just stop treating Thanksgiving like leftovers and treat it like the main course again, it will start to feel more special like it used to, because the turkey might be cold, the stores might be open, and the world might have forgotten how to slow down, but the spirit of Thanksgiving, the one that we remember in our memories, how it used to feel, that one is still out there. You just have to look for it between the noise of Halloween and Christmas, and I promise you, you'll find it. And that's what I've got for you this time. I hope that your Thanksgiving and your holiday season coming up Christmas time is so great. And rest assured, here on this channel, I will have some Thanksgiving focused movie lists and discussions coming up. And I will have plenty of Christmas nostalgia and deep dives in movies. All of that coming up here on the channel. Just take a moment, slow down, enjoy them with your family, and be thankful and grateful for all the ability we have to make this nostalgia a part of our life and bring it forward to generations to come. And that's what I got for you this time. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. That helps out the channel. You can support the channel more by joining my Patreon. The link is below. You get all kinds of extra special goodies that you'll be thankful for, and I really do appreciate it. But until next time, enjoy this season with everyone, and I am thankful and grateful to have you all here. But don't forget to be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.
I know.